Hello, friends. So at this time we are in the middle of Hive, and we'll continue. So far, as part of this big data certifications workshop, as part of the first half, we are trying to complete Scala and Spark workshop, and as part of the second half, so far we have covered Scoop, and we have spoken about Hive DDL and how to load data into Hive tables, and we are in the middle of Hive QL. So let's continue where we have stopped as part of the last session. So here, just give me a moment, okay? Let me validate that about Hive DDL streaming is happening, and it is confirmed that streaming is happening without any issues. So first, let me log into the lab and launch Hive, then we'll continue. Yeah, I'm already in the lab. So we just have to start Hive. And go to the database which you have created for yourself. And in this, I think you have created two databases, retail, your username underscore stage and your username underscore final. In that, you can choose the database where you have data, okay? And then you can start running these queries. So if in my case, I have all these tables, categories, customers, departments, order items, orders, another products, etc. So I will be demonstrating using this. You have to use appropriate tables in your databases to execute these things. Okay. So as of now, as part of HiveQL, we only covered about select clause, from clause, and where clause. And there are many other clauses which you need to understand. We have to cover joins. We have to cover many other advanced features such as windowing functions. Before getting into that, let us understand a few things about functions. So when it comes to Hive, as with any traditional RDBMS, there are two types of functions. The first one is predefined functions, which are available out of the box depending upon the Hive version. The functions, the number of functions and some function syntax might differ a little bit, but there will be a bunch of predefined functions and the number will change depending upon the version you have. And then there is second category called user-defined functions, which means you create your own functions and register as a function as part of a Hive and start using that. So I will cover briefly on user-defined functions later about the steps that are involved in creating the functions. But for now, I will be primarily focusing on predefined functions, which will come out of the box along with Hive. And to get the list of the functions, you just have to run show functions, and it will give the list of functions. Okay, so you see these many functions. And if you are familiar with the regular SQL, most of the functions are similar to those. There are date functions, there are string functions, and there are cast function which will typecast from one data type to other data type. There are a bunch of them. Okay, and there are few advanced functions which are like XPath to process XML data. There are a bunch of them. We will try to see few of them. We will not be able to cover everything. You should have the knack of using the appropriate functions as and when it is required. Okay. So some of the important functions is substring. So for example, if you actually look into the data of orders underscore another, which I have created earlier, I should have mentioned limit 10, so that we preview only first 10 or whatever number of records we want, we can specify. Limit 100 will give 100 records. And you have year, month, and date in this field called orders date. And to get the data type, you can run describe orders underscore another. So my order date is of type string. So as it is string, if I want to get some information from it, I can use substring function. For example, if I have to extract year from this, I can say substring of 1 to 4, which will give first 4 characters. And if I have to extract month, I can say substring of 6, 2. So the first so the function will look like this: select substring of the field, or you can also give hard-coded value. In this case, substring takes string as the first parameter, or column name which is of type string. So in this case, I'm just giving a hard-coded value, which is 2013 07 25. And from this, I want to capture month, these 2 characters. So the second parameter of substring is the starting index from where you want to read the data, which is 6 in this case. And then from that starting index, how many characters you want to read? I just want to read 2 characters because I just want to get month. Now, if I want to see the output of this, you just hit semicolon and hit enter. If you are from Oracle background, it might look like this. You have to use from. So in Oracle, you have to give, you need to have from clause as part of your query. So typically in Oracle, the query will look like this: select something, whatever function or expression you want to give, you can give. And then from dual is nothing but a system view where there will be 1 record, and it will only return 1 record if you do this. As from is mandatory in Oracle, they have created a system view dual for you to validate your functions. Whereas in other databases like MySQL, Postgres, which Hive typically follows, there will be no dual. So you just have to give select and then expression and semicolon and hit enter, and you will get whatever you want. So here, if I want to get the usage of this function called substring, so there is a describe command, and then you have to say describe function substring, which will give the usage. So here you can see the first parameter is of type string. It can be a hard-coded value like this, or it can be a column name from the table. And then second parameter is position. If you don't give length, starting from the position, it will read everything. So for example, in this case, if I want to get this part, which is nothing but time, okay, I can say select substring. Let me use the hard-coded approach. And then I want to read it from here. So 4, 5, 7, 10, 11, and 12. So I can just say 12 and hit enter. You can see you got the rest of the field. So what this square brackets mean is those parameters are optional. Okay, so you can see the explanation. Return the substring of str that starts at POS, which is position, and is of length len, or slice of byte array that starts at position and is of length len. So it's all same. So this is how you can actually check the syntax and usage of the function. Okay, so I will try to explore few more functions for you so that you feel comfortable by yourself about how to use these functions as and when they are required. So one of the most important functions you typically use is substring is one, and if you want to get current date or current timestamp, you can say select current date. All date functions are very important. So current date gives today's date, and current timestamp give date and timestamp. Okay, and then if you want to add months to the date, you can use add underscore months. So you can say add months, comma 3. And you can see it is written 2017 June 2nd, and add months, even though you pass timestamp, it actually returns the date, not the timestamp. Again, you can see describe function add months for the description. You can see return the date, that is number of months after start date. So this can be timestamp or date. Okay, so if you see documentation is not 100% accurate, ideally they should have it should have been more elaborate, but this is all anomalies of open source. You have to do a little bit of more research than traditional supported and documented databases such as Oracle. When you try to explore open source, you have to do the traditional, you have to put the traditional effort. Okay, and then if you want to extract year from the date, you can just use select year. So in this case, you can see it has got a year. If you want month, you can get month. If you want day, you can get day. Okay, and day is 2nd of March today, so it has given us 2. Okay, so these are the important, some of the important date functions. You can see I have already shown you add months, and there are a few things such as date underscore add, date underscore format, date underscore sub. If you want to add days to the date or subtract to the dates, you can use underscore add or underscore sub. And format is to convert date into a particular format. It actually returns a string in a particular format. So if you see describe function date underscore format, it says you can either pass date or timestamp or string and give the format, and it will return string of that format. You can see here converts a date or timestamp or string to a value of string in the format specified by the date format FMT. So for example, the default date format in Hive is YYYY-MM-DD. The default timestamp is YYYY-MM-DD and then timestamp. So you can choose either of them. So in this case, let me pass current date. Current date, what is the format? It's YYYY-MM-DD. And I want to, that is correct, Savita. It is similar to 2 underscore char. Okay. And here I can say current underscore date, comma, and I can say if I want to display date first. What is our date? Our date, I think we have to give DD. And then if I want to display as month, I think we have to give MMM and then YYYY. Okay, let us see whether it will work or not. Yeah, it is working, but this MMM is not correct. Okay, I think M might be for minutes or something. I don't know. Let me try this. No. So they, see, as part of the documentation, they should have at least given us what formats it support. Okay. So let us now go to the Hive official documentation. Hive date underscore format. And hit enter. Okay, so this is how it should be. It should be %y, %m, and %d. I think. Let us see. No, it's not. Okay, it's It's capital. And now it has given the appropriate thing. If I give I think it will give the month in words rather than in numeric values. Okay. And to get the complete month name also, there should be some way of doing with that. Anyway, there is not enough documentation. We need to get into it. No, this is also not Hive official documentation. So let us get into here. Okay, you can go through this and start exploring the functions. Date underscore format. Okay, so someone have mentioned it's 4 capital M's will give. Thank you, Savita. Yeah, it will give the complete month. Okay, and also if you see describe form function add months, it says return the date, that is a number of months after start date, but you can also give negative values. So for example, if I say select add underscore months current date and then -1 or -2 and hit enter, it will go back. Now it is giving 2017 January 2nd. So even though things are not very well documented, most of the times it will work as you see in traditional RDBMSs. So you should give a try before coming up with your own function. Okay. And one more common best use case for this if we need to extract data 4 years back, we use yes, that is correct. Okay, so one more thing you need to understand, one of the important functions which can lead into confusion is, let me run show functions. Unix timestamp. Okay, so there is a function called Unix timestamp. So what is Unix timestamp? Any idea? It is nothing but okay, it is nothing but numeric value of a date. You see here, it has returned a numeric value of Unix as date, and then you can apply some of the means if you actually trying to embed Hive as part of your Unix shell scripts. So Virendra actually given the right answer. It is nothing but seconds clocked from 1st January 1971. That's correct, Virendra. I could not remember on top of my head. So if you sometimes you might want to use shell scripting, and you might want to format using Unix approach, and for that you might have to convert your date to Unix timestamp. And also as you are familiar, storing data in numeric value and if using that as part of your processing logic can be much better than storing the information in date or string. Dealing with integers is much more efficient than dealing with data in other formats. So in most of the data warehouse projects, it is quite common to convert date into numeric value. Sometimes we just use this logic. Okay, if I say select current date, it will give date in date format or string format. If I want to convert it into numeric value, I can say select select substring if there is already date which is incoming, and if I want to store it in a numeric value, I have to apply this transformation logic. Or I can also say select year of current date. There might be a function already also which I haven't explored. But if there is no function, you can use this approach also. Concatenate. I think concatenate or concat. Let us see the syntax. It's concat. So concat year current date, comma, concat, sorry, month of current date, and then here I just have to say like this, okay? And then I have to use, there's a cast function. You can use cast as int. So now the data is actually converted into numeric value. And if you want to see, in this case, it is actually storing it as 2017-3, which is not correct. It should be 2017-03. And if you have to pad, then again there is a function called lpad. Okay, so in there is rpad, there is lpad, and I'm not sure if there is a pad also. Let me see. There is no pad. Either you have to use lpad or rpad, or both if you want to pad on both the sides. So in this case, I want to pad 0 if it is single value month for January through September. Okay, so what I have to do, I just have to say lpad and hit enter. I have to give one more parameter, which value we have to use to pad. Okay. It takes int short byte type as the second argument. Okay, it is not correct. So let me try it out. Okay, so select. It is not returning anything. So describe. Okay, I think second one I have to give how many times it should be padded, and third one should be with what it should be padded. Okay. Okay, now I got it. Okay, so what this lpad is doing? So our output should be at least 2 characters. So that's what the second parameter is. And the third parameter is with what value we want to pad. So in this case, if the output of the function, which is a month of current date, is less than 2 characters, then pad with this value. If it is already 2 characters, then no need to worry. Okay. So now we will actually write the original function. So here I have to say 0, and then here I have to say 2 and hit enter. Now you see 2017-03, which is nothing but integer value. So you can use this approach also to convert a date into a numeric value and store it as numeric value in the database so that the processing happens faster. And another approach is to use Unix timestamp, a shortcut method, to convert into a timestamp and then do whatever you want. So when you actually convert into Unix timestamp, there are other functions also. So let me get the list of functions here. So to get the list of functions, again, I will be using Hive -e, pipe it through Hive -e, show functions, and then pipe it through grep. So here Hive -e set, and then grep for Unix. Oh, sorry, not set. Show functions. So there is from Unix time to Unix timestamp, and then Unix timestamp. We have already seen Unix timestamp. It takes date, or I think date as string as value, and then date as the parameter, and then convert into Unix timestamp. If you want to convert from Unix timestamp to date, then you have to use from Unix time. Okay, so let me go back here, which converts date into Unix timestamp. Okay, now I want to convert this back to date. So what I have to use? I have to use this method called from_Unix time. Okay, so describe function from_Unix time and hit enter. So here you can give the Unix time and specify the format. Okay, so select from_Unix time. So this is the Unix time, and the format is -mm-dd, and hit enter. Now you see, okay, I don't know why it has given 61 here. I think I have to give small letters. Yes. Okay. So this is how you can actually convert a integer value which represents Unix time into regular date. Okay. So I will give few minutes to you here. Go to show functions and make sure you understand different functions here, and then we will take it forward. I will just give a couple of minutes, run show functions, and also use describe function and get the details, etc. Okay, that's good to know. So Ravindra is saying that if you give capital D twice, then it will give the day from beginning of the year. That's why it has given 61. Good observation, Ravindra. So there are regex also. If you want to explore regular expressions, you can use regex. So trim is another useful function. So if you are new to SQL, pad is very important function, lpad and rpad, and also there is trim, rtrim, ltrim to trim unnecessary characters. It is also very important function, and date functions are very important. Substring function is very important. There is one more function called inString in str. This will actually give the position of your string. So let me explain it to you. For example, we have the string called IT varsity. Okay, and I want to get the position of varsity in that. I can just say and hit enter. So varsity starts from third character in the string. So in string we'll give, we'll try to identify what is the position of the string which you have passed as second parameter in the string which is passed as first parameter. This is also very important function. Okay, so now let's move on. And there is lower if you want to convert everything to lower. There is upper if you want to convert everything to upper. Now let's move on. Okay, so now define. So let us define few problem statements here and start writing the queries. Okay, so already we have seen how to apply where condition, and now if you look into the data of order items, or if you look at the structure of order items, the table have order item ID, order item ID, order item product ID, order item quantity, order item subtotal, order item product price. So from this, I want to see which product is sold most. Okay, so I want to see which product is sold most. To begin with, I just want to get product ID, which product ID is sold most, not revenue. Just based upon quantity, I just want to know which product is sold most. So first, to address the problem statement, let us understand the columns first. Order item ID is the primary key of the table. Each order item within each order will have a unique. Each entry is will have a unique order item ID. And then there is a field called order ID, which is nothing but child column to order ID in orders. So for each order, there can be n number of order items, and all those order items will be part of this order items table. And then product ID will give which product is being sold as each item in each order. And then quantity will give how many products are sold. How many items are sold within each order item for that product ID. Okay, and then subtotal gives amount for that order item, and product price is actually price of the product. Typically, we don't need to store product price as part of the order items. You can store it in products itself, which is another parent table for order items. But sometimes we might give discount to the customers, and this product price might reflect the actual price after discount. Hence, they might have placed this field also in this table. Anyway, now the requirement is, let us get the products top selling product by quantity. Okay, so first let us understand how to compute the quantity, and then we will see we will see how we can get the details about top selling product ID, and we will take it further. We will try to expand the same problem statement and try to run the queries. So can you guys explain how to get the quantity of each product ID? We just have to add the quantity of the product ID. So we have to group. Here we have to use a clause called group by. When we use group by, the data will be grouped by the product ID, and then we can actually get aggregations such as the number of sum of quantity to get the number of the total quantity sold for each product ID. Okay, so it will look like this. Select order item product ID, comma. Here we are trying to get the quantity of each product ID. Okay, we will see sorting and all little bit later. First, let us understand how to get the quantity of each product ID. So there is a function called sum, and these are called as aggregate functions. The functions which I have shown earlier, they are not aggregate functions. I forgot the term. There is a proper term for that, where it will take one row or one value as input and return one value as output. Whereas for sum or for aggregate functions, it will take the entire result set as input and then give one value as output. So in this case, for sum, we are trying to get all the quantities for the product ID as input, and then we want to get the total quantity as output. Okay, so this is called as aggregate function. So how to use aggregate function? So let's write select order item product ID and then sum of quantity, because there is a field called quantity which will tell how much quantity is placed in each order. So here I am naming it as total quantity. This is just alias. This is not a column name in the table. We are just giving it as alias for this expression, which is sum of quantity. And if I say from orders, or in this case order items, so will this query work? Any guesses? Those who are all experienced, don't comment. Let's give some time for entry level professionals, if there are any. And if you can tell whether this query will work or not, and if you think it will work, or if you think it will not work, if you can explain why it will not work, it will be good exercise. All experienced and senior level folks, please remain silent and let us give an opportunity to some of the entry level folks who are part of this training. And I'm going to basics for them. So any other guesses? Ravindra privately told me no. If any guesses from anyone, whether this query will run properly or not. Okay. It seems there are no more answers, so let's take it forward. This query will not work. Okay, the reason is you can see here invalid table alias or column reference quantity. Possible column names are okay. So here it's a syntax error. Sorry for that. I should have mentioned order item quantity. Order item underscore quantity. So here it is complaining expression not in group by. So when you use aggregate functions, there are two ways we can get aggregate functions. You can just say select count of, this is also an aggregate function, or count of 1 from order items. It will work without any issues. We are just getting count of all the rows in the table. Or you can also say select sum of order item quantity from order items. It will give the total quantity using our data set. Okay, but if you have other columns apart from aggregate functions like this, okay, you cannot have a normal column along with aggregate function. You can have this one is also valid query. Instead of giving order item product ID, if I just want to get count of all orders and then quantity, I can say count of 1 total count and then sum of order item quantity. It will also work without any issues. It will, here both are aggregate functions and we are trying to get results for aggregate functions. But earlier case when it failed, one is aggregate function and one is non-aggregate expression. In this case, we just gave column name, but it could be any expression also. But the primary thing is the expression, the first expression is non-aggregate one. Okay, in this order item product ID is non-aggregate one. So when you have two or more expressions in the select clause, and if any one of them is an aggregate function, then all the other fields have to be either aggregate functions or you need to have group by clause. Okay, so we have to say select order item product ID, sum of order item quantity. We have given alias as total quantity from order items. And now I am saying group by order item product ID. Okay, and hit enter. Now it will work. Okay, there is a typo. Sorry for that. Now it will work without any issues. So whenever you have max, etc., either all the expressions in the select clause has to be aggregate function. Even if one of them is not aggregate function, then you have to have group by clause on that field. Okay, so now you get quantity for each and every order item product ID. So this is the query which we ran. So let me copy it to Sublime Text so that we can work on Sublime Text to improvise it. Okay. So here, I hope everyone is clear on this. So here we have the column name, and the same column is part of group by, and then we have aggregate functions. You can have as many columns you want, but all of them have to be as part of the group by. Okay, so this will give the product ID and the sum of order item quantity, but the results are not sorted, right? You can see here the results are not sorted, and here I want to sort in ascending order by the second field. What is the second field? Total quantity. Okay, and that way I will get the top priced top selling product ID at the bottom. So how to get it? Here it is the case of sorting the data, and data can be sorted using order by. In this case, we have to give this second field name because we want to sort by total quantity. In Oracle, or in some of the RDBMSs like Oracle, you can say 2 to sort the data by second field, 1 to sort the data by first field, and then ascending or descending depending upon which way you want to sort the data. So this notation of using the position of the column as part of the select clause will not work in Hive. You have to have the alias for your function, and you have to use only this alias. So here in this case, I cannot use order by sum of order item quantity or 1 or 2 positional notation of the column. Instead, we have to give the column name or alias name in the order by clause like this. And then if you don't say ascending or descending, by default it is ascending. But if you want to change it to descending, you can say DESC. If you want to do it in ascending, you can say ASC. Okay, so let's run this and see the results. Even if you don't have ASC, that is fine. And all these queries will work even in most of the traditional databases. While it is running, now another question. Okay, here I specified order by the alias name. Okay, if I have having clause, so having is to filter the data after grouping. So for example, if I want to only get the products which are sold more than 10,000 items. So there is a clause called having. We can use having and then say the total quantity greater than, let's say 10,000, greater than or equal to 10,000. So now here is the question to everyone, even for the experienced professionals. As part of the having clause, shall I give total quantity, which is alias, or the function, which is this one, or it doesn't matter? Any guesses? The question is, as part of the having clause, can I give sum of order item quantity or total quantity, or it doesn't matter? So Ravindra said it doesn't matter. Any other guesses? We can give function as well. That means Virendranath is also saying it doesn't matter. Okay. Sunil is saying we have to use sum. Any other guesses? I will give 10 seconds. If you want, you can run this query also. So I'm just giving the query to you in the chat. I will give 15 seconds time. If you are already in the lab, you can run this query and see if it success or if it will be successful or failure. Okay, 5 more seconds. So I will recommend everyone to go to Hive or Hive and be ready by choosing your database so that whenever I give these things, you can try it out in parallel. And I will wait if you want me to wait. So Sunil's answer is correct. We should give only this expression. We cannot give the alias. I will explain the reason why. Okay, so here we have to use sum of order quantity. Then if you run, it will work. So before explaining, let me make sure that everyone is clear about the group by clause, having clause, and then order by clause. Order by is to sort the data. Group by is to group by particular thing. And if after grouping, if you want, to filter on these aggregated fields, you have to use having clause, which we have seen here. And then we are checking only for the products which are greater than or equal to 10,000, and then we are sorting by total quantity. So everyone clear with this? Now the results are done. There are only a handful of products where the quantity is greater than 10,000, and the highest product in demand is 365. So now I will explain why we can give only the aggregate function. For that, you need to understand the way the query will be executed. Okay. So when this query is submitted, it will be compiled into some native language, in this case MapReduce. So first thing it will do is go to order items and get the data. Okay, as we don't have indexes, it will get the entire data into the worker nodes where the data will be processed. And then we are doing group by. Okay, so the execution also happen like this. First it will go to from clause and read the data. Now both are working. That's interesting. In the earlier version, it did not work. Let me try. Even in Oracle, it does not work. You have to give only the aggregate function. Probably they might have changed something recently. Yeah, it is working. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, RDBMS, it does not work. Even in Hive, in the earlier versions, it does not work. Probably recently they might have made some changes, or probably I might have overlooked. Let's validate the results also, because even if the query runs, the results might be incorrect. So let's wait. Yeah, both are correct, both are working. So traditionally, it does not work. The reason is the data will be fetched using some clause, then the group by clause will be applied, then having clause will be applied. Once this from clause, if there is where clause in between, the where after applying the where clause, after applying the group by and having clause, the execution lifecycle take to select clause directly. It will not go to order by, because order by we typically put the fields which are part of select clause. Okay, so as the select clause will not be processed until the from clause, where clause, group by, having, etc. Typically in traditional RDBMSs, in the having clause you can only specify these expression. The aliases it does not understand, it does not know the alias name at the time of having. Only in the order by clause we will only in the order by clause we can specify the fields which are created as aliases in the select clause. So the execution lifecycle is from clause. If there is where clause, it will go to the where clause and try to filter out the data, then go to group by having, and then it will go to select clause, then finally go to the order by clause. Okay, so that's why only in order by clause we can actually give the aliases for the functions. Okay, in RDBMS, so now another question. Don't try and answer, just answer the question, answer it and try. Now my question is, can I give this sum as part of order by? Sunil said no. I think I already answered this question earlier, but let's see. Any guesses, Ravindra? Can I give this function as part of the order by? No, it matters. Here you cannot give. When it comes to order by in Hive, you just have to give the aliases. Whereas in traditional RDBMS, you can give the expression if you want, you can give the alias, or you can actually give the positional notation also, like 2, 1, etc. Now let me try this, because we have been already executing with alias. So now I'm trying with the sum function. Now you can see it is failing. Invalid table alias or column reference, order item quantity, possible column names are order item product ID or total quantity. Okay, so the main thing which you need to understand is at least now the L is more elaborate. Earlier it used to be misleading. Okay, so here you have to give only the aliases. So giving aliases to the expressions which are not column names is mandatory if you want to use them as part of the order by clause when it comes to Hive. Okay, so clear here about how the select queries will be executed, and it's very important. And I'm only talking about typical select queries. I'm not talking about joins. Okay, now we are getting the product ID. Product ID doesn't mean anything. We should get the product name, right? So how should I get product name? Product name is not in order items. It's in some other table called products. I have to join order items with products, and then instead of getting order item product ID, I should get the product name, so that I can see product name and the quantity in ascending order. We'll get into ranking little bit, probably a little bit later, probably tomorrow. First, let us get the product name, and then some total quantity of that product name, and then we will go to the next level. Okay, so in this case we just have to use join. There are few things you need to keep in mind when it comes to joins. So when it comes to Oracle, right, you can specify joins like this: order items, comma, products, where order items dot product ID equal to products dot product ID, and get what, and we can fetch whatever fields we want from the products here. That is a valid join syntax in Oracle, but it is not in compliant with ANSI. ANSI does not prefer to use joins like this. Okay, ANSI SQL says the join should be like this. From order items, you can give alias to the table names if you want, like this OI, and then join products P, and then on OI dot order item product ID equal to P dot product ID. Okay, and here I want to get the product name. So first let us get the name of the products, name of the columns, so that the program will run without any issues. The query will run without any issues. So product name is the actual field name, so we are good to go. And then we can actually say product name here. Okay. And now when I run this query, the join also included, and then we are trying to group by product name, and let us see whether we'll be able to get the product name along with the quantity. So what is the difference you see on top of what? No, forget about it. Now if you see, we actually got the product name and the quantity in the ascending order. Okay. Now if I want to get top 5 products, one of the way is to say we don't need to have having clause here. Okay, we can say order by total quantity, descending order, because we want to get the top 5. Okay, and then we can say select star from. If can you guys guess what I should do here? I just want to get top 5 selling products by quantity. So this will give quantity for each and every product name. Now I want to get only top 5 products. So what should I do here? Sunil mentioned limit 5. That is correct. If it is Oracle, we typically say row num less than or equal to 5. Limit 5. Okay, and then what happened? Okay, so the reason why it is failing is, again, this is not giving the error correctly. In traditional SQL, traditional RDBMSs, it will work without any issues. When it comes to Hive, you have to give alias for each and every query in the from clause, and this is called as nested subquery. So we are nesting a query and trying to use as part of select star from. It is called as nested subquery, or subquery actually. It is called as subquery, not nested subquery. Nested means something else. I will explain later. It is called as subquery, and we have to give alias to the subquery to run this. Otherwise, it will not work. It's just the syntax which you need to remember. Don't forget to give subquery. And if you see the error is too generic and you don't know where it is failing. It should have been more elaborate. Now it is running without any issues. Okay, now you see we are getting top 5 products. Okay, but what if we have to get the dense? So for example, if there are two products which are being sold with the same quantity, in that case it should return 6. So we have to implement dense function. Using limit 5 will not work. So we'll get into that a little bit later. For now, we will try to get further. I want to not only get the product name, but also the category name. Okay, so categories is a parent table to products, and I want to get the category name and then product name when while retrieving the top 5 quantity. So in this case, if I have to get the category name, where should I use the join? Where should I use categories to join? Should I join categories as part of this query, or should I join categories with this? So the requirement is simple. As of now, I am only getting product name and the quantity for first 5 products, top 5 products based on quantity. Now I want to get the category also for that product. So the question is, to get the category name, I have to join category name somewhere or the other. Should I join category name in the subquery, or should I join the category name in the main query? Any guesses? Sunil is saying main. The answer is correct. It has to be main. The reason is, if you try to do it in the from clause, what will happen? Now you will be you need to group by both category name and product name, right? So the results will not be correct, because there could means in this case it might not matter, but in some cases it will not be correct. So the safest way of dealing this issue is we should add it as part of the main query. So how to join? So now this will act as one table, and the table is nothing but output of this query, and we are trying to join this with categories C on Q dot. Okay, here we have to get the we have to get the product ID also, because sorry, not product ID. We have to get category ID so that we can join with categories. Okay, so even the main query will not work. Okay, so we will see tomorrow how to get it, because no, we cannot do that, Ravindra, because this P has no relevance in the main query. The scope of P is only within the subquery. So we will not be able to do that. I don't think so it will work. Okay, so we will see tomorrow about, yes. Yes. So if you see Q has only 2 columns, product name and total quantity. It does not have category ID. So we will continue tomorrow and we will see how to get the details. Okay. And then we will slowly get into analytical functions also. It might take tomorrow a couple of more sessions to cover the analytical functions also. Okay, and also we need to cover left outer join, right outer join. We need to cover set operations. There are many things which needs to be covered. So we'll slowly try to expand. We will take a couple of use cases and we will try to expand while exploring different forms of SQL. And within next 5-6 sessions, we'll be able to wrap it up. Okay, so we will continue from here tomorrow. So tomorrow's requirement is how to get the category name for all these products which are written as top 5 products. Okay, so that being said, thank you very much for joining today's session, and we'll continue tomorrow. I will, if you want, I can give few minutes time if you have any questions. So let me wait for 15 seconds. If you have any questions, you can ask the questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. Okay, so it seems there are no questions. We'll catch up tomorrow. Bye. So those who are on YouTube session, thank you very much for joining this session. Again, if you want to practice while I have been explaining this, you can use labs.itversity.com, and you can sign up. And these are the plans: 1495, 3495, 5495. And if you have any questions while practicing, whether you use my lab or your own environment, you can go to discuss.itversity.com and you can start writing the questions. There are army of volunteers who are trying to answer the questions. And that being said, thank you very much, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye.